internet, and welcome to episode 8 of Let's Talk Board Games. I would just like to say welcome back to Mr. Chris.
Welcome back, Chris.
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
How sleep deprived are you?
Not too bad at all, to be completely honest. I have a get out of jail free card. My loving wife is looking after my beautiful baby girl, and I can join you, lovely fellows, to let's talk some board games. Yay!
Yay!
Yes, welcome again to episode 8 of Let's Talk Board Games. So we have Mr. Chris with us tonight, and of course, our lovely, ever faithful Dan Face.
Of course. Hello,
Mr. Healy.
I'm here twice in a row.
I know.
You're honoured indeed. I know.
We are indeed honoured. Helps that it's a Thursday night, of course.
Yeah.
And we'll be joined shortly by Thomas Young from Nomad Games. However, we are aware he is running a little bit late tonight for some unforeseen IT issues, but he will be joining us as and when we can. So, without further ado, I think it's probably best to hand over to Mr. Chris, because we definitely have some big, important news that we're sharing tonight. Not that we've been bragging about it pretty much for the last 3 weeks on social media already, but so I'm sure most of you know what it is. But over to you, Mr. Chris.
Well, yes. Hello. Thank you, everyone. It's really nice to be back. It really is. It's not an understatement. George has done an amazing job running this in my absence. So I would like to just take a moment to say thank you, George. You've done an absolutely fantastic job. Keep it up, because I think George will probably do a lot more going forward. And I probably will take a bit more of a background role, but I'll still be on the shows. So it's good. But we've got some incredible lineup coming over the coming months. We've got some amazing guests. Thank you, Pete. I'm glad to be back. It is lovely to be back. Get your questions ready, everyone, for Nomad, because like I said, Thomas will be here, and he'll be here to answer any questions and talk about what Nomad do. So yeah, dead exciting. What I will reiterate now is, like George says, we've got an amazing competition, and I've got to say thank you now to everyone that has donated prizes. We've had Nomad has given digital prizes. We've had real Dead Tree format games being donated, and you'll see them on screen in a moment. It's great. We had Nikita from Attican Games. She's also donated a game as well. So it's great. It's really nice. Everyone's really supportive of our channel. We are a new channel, and we love you all. So it's great. But without further ado,
of course, the local lads from Sinister Fish donated a copy of Villagers as well.
Yes, they did. Yes, thank you for reminding me, George. I forgot about that one. I wasn't involved with that one. You did. So well done for reeling in Sinister Fish.
See, he's already got the dad jokes to a T. Well done, Chris.
Yeah, I've got the dad jokes to a T. Yes. The more will follow, I'm sure.
You've been a dad about a month, and you're already a pro.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll be pulling all the bad puns from the penitentiary.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
But no. Can we kick him from the channel like 5 minutes in? Is this? Oh, I was joking.
All right, off you go, Dan.
Am I first?
No, you're not. No, you're good. No. What we'll do is while we're we'll talk a bit more about the competition now, shall we, George?
First, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So we have an amazing competition. It looks great. Again, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that's done everything they've done. We have an amazing new logo that has been designed by a friend of the channel. It's Harry Darlington. Thank you very much, Harry. You'll remember Harry from when he came on the show and he talked about Midnight Pig. Well, he's done a stonking great job with a commission that we asked him to do of redesigning our imp, the little guy in the corner down there. Here he is. Look, and here's the new one. Doesn't he look amazing? I hope you guys will love it. I love it. It's fantastic. It looks amazing. And, well, he's never really had a name. So what we want...
He's kind of pushing me out of frame here, I've got to say.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Dan. You can just about fit behind him. Hang on.
I can fit here.
That's
can
an
fit here.
uncanny resemblance, you know.
Oh, it's uncanny.
Nice.
It's the eyebrows.
It's the eyebrows. No, he's never had a name, and we
Okay.
would love you guys out there to name him. So the competition is this: is to you guys to submit your name ideas. Okay, so you can do that on the website. The competition will be going live at the end of this show. Yeah. We've had Pete come up saying, so figures of him when? Well, you never know. We might do. I have a 3D printer now.
Next merchandising.
We might be doing some 3D printed models of him, as and when we can. So yeah, that's a good idea, Pete. Thank you very much. I hadn't thought of that. But yes, we want you to name him or her. He may look like a man, but we don't know. But we want your name suggestions, guys. Of course, remember we're a family show, so keep them clean and keep them. There
go my entries then.
Yes. There go your entries, Mr. Dan. But what's up for grabs? I know you all want to know. I know you want to know. So, without further ado, I'm going to show you on screen. It's going to blank us all out now. This is. It should do. Yes, it does. Look at that. So it is official. Name the Imp competition. Yeah, you can win all of these Dead Tree formats and these digital board game selections. So we've got Talisman's new expansion, the digital edition. Okay, we've also got.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you. We've got a copy of Digital Love Letter, a digital copy of Small World. Again, some amazing donations we've had there. We've got Nikita providing memory mischief. So thank you very much. Arvis Games have donated a copy of their survival bundle of Board Royale, which is excellent because it comes with like 3 expansions. Brilliant. And of course, we've got a copy of Foul Play because you remember those guys were on our show last time. And of course, a Dead Tree format of Villages. And they're going to be coming on our show very soon. And also,
don't forget the issue 4 of Senate as well.
Well, yeah, I was about to go there. Thank you, George. And a big shout out to Senate because they are giving us 4 copies of an issue. 1 will go out to a winner, and then 3 lucky runners up that will be picked at random will receive a copy of Senate as well. So, and they will be picked at random. Of course, we have all our, the normal kind of terms and conditions for any of these competitions. You can see those on our website. And they're all there, so do check them out. And of course, you can enter at www.doalg.co.uk. Get your entries in. It's going to be drawn live on the next episode of Let's Talk Board Games, and basically got 48 hours to claim your prize. So good luck to all you. To everyone out there for entering the competition. It is 1 entry per household, so do remember that. But yeah, good luck, and we look forward to seeing your suggestions, and we'll pick our favorite to win, and then of course the runners up for the magazine. Yeah. All right, guys.
I'll say just
amazing competition.
What a selection!
Yeah.
I'll say you've got up until the 30th of April to put your submissions in through the website. So make sure you get entering. We hope to have lots and lots of good entries to choose from. Hopefully not everyone will select Impy Muck Imp Face. It had to be.
That's my other entry, George. You've ruined all my entries now.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, Dan. As per usual, with any sort of competition, I'm afraid anyone associated with the show or within their households, I'm afraid,
yes, I know.
Excluded from.
I merely jest.
Yeah. So I think we now have an additional guest ready to introduce. So George, you don't want to come back to yourself?
We do indeed, and we have the wonderful. I
don't think I've ever been introduced as wonderful before. Like, not even once.
Oh, no, it's great to have you here this evening, Tom.
How's it going?
It's really good. I'll say we've just announced the competition, and I'll say thank you very much to Nomad for the talisman.
Oh, no, you guys, yes, it's super welcome. Like, anything we can do to help out. Like, we're a small company, so we know what it's like to try and get your name out there as much as possible. So this competition looks like it's going to shape up really well.
Yeah, I was saying we're certainly looking forward to it. And again, thank you for the early access to Fury of Dracula. I say,
Oh,
I know it was what,
super welcome.
I would say, and the multiple copies to test out on online functionality, of course, as well. Because I know Danface was very happy to get a copy of that to play with me when we were testing out the early access. And
yes, indeed, we put a good few hours into that. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it's shaped up to be the transformation from like the very early beta version, which you guys probably saw, to like the final release. Like such a full journey. Like,
and I'll say clearly not one that's finished yet with all the updates that are coming through.
Yeah, we're still working on updates. So obviously we've put out the mobile version. When was that? Time has lost all meaning in the pandemic. We put out the mobile version, so we've been working hard on that and just adding bits more stuff. So I know one of the common things that people have been asking for in the community. Have either of you played it on your mobile?
Yes,
I've not, but I know that
Chris has
mobile versions.
Yeah. So something that people have been asking for is, it seems like a really intuitive thing, is when you're zooming in and out of the map, people really want to be able to just, like, you're on a mobile, you should be able to pinch and scroll like that, right? At the moment, that isn't something we support. So we get a lot of people being like, why doesn't the zoom work? I'm zooming in on my mobile and it just doesn't work. And we're like,
I wondered
well,
that.
it does work.
Interesting, yeah.
It just doesn't work in the way that you might intuit that it should work. So we're hopefully going to be rolling out something. I think we're testing that at the moment to see if it doesn't cause any issues, because we don't want to implement something where you do it and then accidentally click something. Or I'm not the most technical, like, I'm marketing, not programming, so I tend to go off what they tell me.
Yeah.
No,
well, we actually have had a question come in on Twitter. And I'm just trying to track it down now, so just bear with me one moment, because it was posted earlier on in the day, so I'll find that.
Not that one.
That was something I
yeah, I'm just gonna say I love Fury of Dracula. I need to try it again now. You can have the different players be the hunters now, can't you? I think that's one of the features. So we definitely need to organise a night where we can all play now, which is really good.
Yeah, you can.
Face off the expert Dracula.
It was a terrible Dracula. I love the presentation of the game as well. It's just amazing. All the little animations, all the little touches.
It's captured the Gothic themes so very, very well.
I'm quite a fan of a few of. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so when we were first starting to work on the game, like, we literally were like, okay, well, we need to sit down, look at like Hammer horror. We need to look at all the different things that Dracula's been in, because the theme is like it's what sells the game a lot of the time, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So one of the questions that's come in from the internet. So this was posted by MM at MC Intima. They're wanting to know, is War of the Ring in development? Can you give a hint to that? I'm kind of sure I know what the answer is, but I can't not ask it because they asked.
Is it classified?
So the answer that I can give is it's not in development. We're not developing a game based on the War of the Ring board game. Okay. That's the best answer that I can give.
The best answer.
Very diplomatic answer.
Yeah. That's good. We can move on from that. That's not a problem. You can take into that what you ever wish, internet, but the answer at the moment is no.
I should be of interest.
You did say that you were sort of in between projects, but is there anything in particular you would like to work on?
I mean, War of the Ring would be an amazing one to work on. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, so being able to do anything to do with that world be amazing. Like, one of the other titles that we'd really like to work on, but it gets into a lot of the licensing issues, is the Star Wars version of Talisman that's just come out.
Yeah.
Talisman's our bread and butter at Nomad. Like, it's what we do best. So really like to do that. But there's a certain mouse who controls the licensing for that, and that's going to be an entire horrible mess of licensing. So I'd really like to, but whether we can, like, we're a tiny little company. They've got they've probably got 10 times as many lawyers as we do employees.
That's the thing when you got, when certain, what do you call it? IPs, intellectual properties get involved. And I think, Catan had that very issue when they did Star Trek Catan. So it was a brave, bold move. I didn't personally like it, but you can understand why, companies do choose to do it, because, it helps sell and reinforce brands. So, yeah. So it did come up on screen, but I'll show it again. One of our viewers, Steph Hewitt, turned in and said, "George can't be Dracula, not when I'm the hunter." Do you want to kind of tell us more about that, George?
Is that a challenge, or is she kicked your...
No, she's just slightly psychic, and may have completely beaten down Dracula in one turn.
One turn? How's that possible?
But in one combat, she completely slaughtered me.
Wow.
Well, mostly it was more the classic way that Dracula loses in Fury of Dracula, he's definitely not gone that way. Why don't we just send someone that way to check? Oh, look, there he is. And suddenly you've got 4 hunters around you, and Dracula loses very quickly when there's multiple hunters.
So his reign of terror across Europe didn't last very long. A single night. Less fury of Dracula, just kind of angry temper tantrum of Dracula.
Yeah.
And as per the follow-up, I can read people.
Yeah, Steph says she can read people.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
It was going all so well up until that point.
Yeah.
I'll say the annoying thing is, had it worked, I had about 3 vampires that were going to mature, and it would have been an impossible lead to get back from. But there is only so much that you can do when you've got facing down multiple hunters.
We'll have to challenge you to a talisman game, Steph. See if the dice gods are in your favor then.
Okay, well, look.
It's the only thing I dislike about talisman. It does rely a bit on RNGs.
Yeah, it is quite a common complaint that we get. So funnily enough, before I worked at Nomad, I was actually involved with social casino stuff. So cool. Slots, all that kind of thing. So it was very strange to come from that sort of side of the industry where everyone's going on at you for being like, oh, all your machines are rigged. Oh, all these things are happening. And you're clearly playing for the house wins, to come to Talisman where people are like, well, these dice just don't act like dice should act. I'm like, look, I'm a Magic the Gathering player, so I know what it's like to just be like, all right, I just need to trust in the RNG, and if it gets me, it gets me. But people still say, look, you need to sort out the dice. I'm like, what do you mean sort out the dice?
It's just a product of its time, though, Talisman, isn't it? It's a 20-year-old game, isn't it? And it's mainly that's the style of game back then. It's just roll the dice, move through space. I think it's part of its charm, to be honest.
When you say 20 years, do you really mean 40 years?
40 years.
No way. Is it really 40 years old?
I need to double check.
It's 5th edition now, I believe. 5th edition of Talisman.
Wow.
I still love it. It's a guilty pleasure.
Does that mean they beat Settlers of Catan for being an old game?
Oh, probably, yeah.
First released in 1983.
Wow. And it's still going strong and now being turned into a digital game. That's incredible.
If anything, I've
got a question for you, Thomas. So I know it's probably a little bit away from obviously what you do, and you guys do at Nomad. But you said one of your favorite games is Magic the Gathering, yes?
Yep.
So you play entry format, or do you play the electronic format, which is Arena?
So back when we weren't surrounded by bricks and couldn't go outside, I used to go all over the place to play Magic. So I used to go to across Europe with friends.
Wow.
play at local tournaments. Everyone always gets like, oh, well, if you're traveling across Europe to play it, you must be pretty good. Don't get that impression. Like it's partly holiday, part play some Magic on the weekend. That sounds fun. But yeah, like paper, physical, or the digital version. Obviously, I've been playing lots of Arena, Magic Arena. Really, really good game. Really good. Like,
and the thing is, it's just come out on mobile device as well. It's no longer just PC as it was previously. You can now get it on Android and iOS.
Yeah, so it's a dangerous thing, that.
yeah. I got it on my phone now. Dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous.
But no, it's we've had some interesting comments which I think have already been put up on screen that are coming through on the internet. Yeah, we get a lot of watch back. So if anyone has got any questions, Thomas has agreed to drop on the threads, because this is on Twitter, it is on Facebook, it is on YouTube. So if you are re-watching back on these platforms, you can ask the questions, and Thomas says he will happily pop on and answer them if he can, of course.
Yes, and if I can't, then I'll give a diplomatic answer.
Yes, you seem to be very good at the diplomatic answers, so well done. Has anyone else?
We'll be around all evening, so whilst we're in the show, keep feeding through your questions in the comments, and we can feed them into Tom. I've got one final question for Tom before we move on.
Go for it.
I am the rules lawyer. I know the challenge that you sometimes have at playing Dead Tree formats, where certain things don't quite necessarily mesh together with a black and white answer. How do you translate those into a digital format where computers work on ones and zeros?
So with great difficulty. So one of the things, a good example is Fury of Dracula, actually, where, like, say you're playing a game of Fury of Dracula and you have a specific rules question. Normally you just pick up the rules book, look through it and go, okay, that's what it says I need to do. I'll do that. And if it isn't 100% clear, normally you can be like, oh, well, I get what they're going for. I'll do that. When you're doing the digital version, like you said, it runs off ones and zeros. It needs an absolute answer. So we came across things in the rules books where we were like, okay, well, we need to refer to an older version of the rules book because it's not quite clear what they're actually trying to get us to do here, or there'd be like conflicting rules. So like you could flick to page 3, you'd be like, oh, okay, this is what I need to do in this situation. And then a month down the line, one of our QA testers turns around and says, hang on, I did this and it didn't act like how the rules work. I'm like, oh, okay. And then you find out that's a knock-on effect of something else, another rule entirely. So the game just has rules that can't align with each other. And when you're playing physically, you can be like, oh, it's all right, we'll just use this. But like I said, you can't do that when you're in a digital one. So a lot of the time how we remedy that is we talk to the community, because like these are the people that play these games all the time. Like we had some serious Fury of Dracula players, and we were like, okay, what would your ruling be in this situation? Like, here's an edge case. How should this work? And then we can go, okay, depending on what they say, depending on how we think it should work, we can work it out from there. But yeah, it depends on the complexity of the game. For certain things like Talisman is a really good example. If you're playing Talisman with all the different expansions and everything turned on, and then you're like, okay,
you feel like losing 4 days of your life.
Yeah, there's a good example.
A challenge, though.
There's a really good example in Talisman, actually, of there's a card in the Woodland expansion called, I think it's Fate Rewoven or Tapestry Rewoven. And it doesn't do anything too fancy, but what it does is it replaces one of the current endings with a different one. And you're like, okay, that sounds fine enough. Why would that cause any issues? But then you work out, okay, what if the ending needed something to be set up at the beginning of the game?
Yeah.
What if the ending needs like players to be in a certain position? What if the ending like changes the way that the game works? Because a lot of the endings do that. And then it's like, okay, what happens when it becomes that?
Yeah.
We need to find a way to make it work. Yeah,
massive long subroutines.
Yeah, so many combinations. Another shout out for Talisman. I think there's loads of home rule options as well. Isn't there on Talisman? I imagine in that, which I've always thought was really impressive. Because Talisman's such an old game, people have introduced loads of their own home rules. So I think it's really nice to see that in the digital version as well.
Yeah, like one of the things that, like, even in Fury of Dracula, one of the common things that we got from communities was all I care about house rule wise is that you stop Dracula being able to move around the sea so much. As long as you sort that out.
Pirate Dracula is a third tactic.
So, like, again, a lot of that's based on community feedback. Like, if we get a lot of people saying, hey, I'd appreciate this house rule, we'll put it in. Like, it's what people want, right?
Well, exactly. And it's
nice to hear that.
On the community is great. Yeah. I mean, one of the big things that we have with our, our community of followers is the ability to be able to play games with each other. And in this society, you have Steam platforms and all sorts, and they're able to do that with digital games. And that's why I think during lockdown, it's been crucial. And this is where I was going with. So thank you for whoever popped that just up on screen. But if you do want to play games with us and chat on our Discord channel, the link's just there. It will be on the website. All the new changes will be going live. Looks like we have got a comment come in. Pete says Dracula can't cross moving water as well.
He can in this game. I think they've that.
I was going to say he can do so as long as he's prepared to take the damage for it.
He does take damage. Yes, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
If you time it right, it can be. It's a very good end game strategy if you've managed to stay hidden.
Yeah,
which was the massive complaint about it.
If you do the maths and you're like, okay, I only need a couple of extra days, that math checks out.
Yeah. It can lead to a very boring end to a game.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, and we've got another one coming in as well. It says, okay.
Yep.
Okay. I think we put Pete in his place. Was he put? Sorry, I had Dracula Vampire Lore nerd moment.
We all have those.
Well, if we did that, we'd never get past the disaster that is the Twilight movies. Come on, vampires shouldn't sparkle. Not in my books.
Hashtag not going there.
Anyway.
I'm just imagining a Twilight cover of Fury of Dracula now. That could be a good suggestion.
Like a reskin.
A reskin. You just sparkle across Europe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you really want to spear your company?
I'm going to just roll back very quickly. Dan, didn't you have a Twilight board game?
Oh, thanks for that, Chris. I had a bad board game challenge where I found a copy of the Twilight board game in the a charity store for £1. So I bought it just to see how bad it is, and it is pretty bad. I could do a separate review just on that. The embarrassing thing is I won, so I don't know if that's good or bad. I've never seen any of the Twilight movies, but it's basically it's a Twilight trivia game with other bits mixed in.
Okay.
And I just managed to guess the answers pretty much.
Don't worry, we're not going to ask you to turn it into a digital board game. But I mean, just very quickly on that point, and then we'll move on with the rest of the show, is if people have ideas for digital board games or they want to convert them, is that something you guys are open to?
Yeah, all the time. Like, we've got a lot of contacts in the physical board game space just because, like, we like to talk to those people. They tend to be quite cool people. Yeah. So if someone has a board game that they want to make a digital version of, or if they have a board game that's currently like prototyped, and they're like, look, we want to eventually turn this into a digital version. Is there anything we should be aware of that we should change now so that it doesn't cause issues later down the line? Like, that's something that we're always open to talk about. And if the idea is cool, we're always happy to talk about cool ideas.
There you go. So if you guys are out there and you are developing games and you want to maybe consider turning them into digital board games, then Nomad are your place to go, even if it's just for a bit of advice and some tips. So we are going to move on, but I will very briefly point that Pete did say that we should have reviewed it for April Fool's Day, Dan, and I think he was talking about...
I'll make you all suffer as much as I did. I'll throw away the last of my humanity to play that.
Brilliant. So, but without further ado, shall we move on?
Okie dokie.
Yes, I will just throw in another little sideline as well. We mentioned the rules things, and I obviously am the rules lawyer. Obviously, if you're not playing digital versions which will break the game, and you want to get your own opinions on things, feel free to weigh in on the forums. We're on the website www.doalg.co.uk. You can always get the opinion of our rules lawyer, me, and all the rest of the team. We're always happy to help weigh in if you can't find your answer elsewhere on the internet land.
Yeah, and you can also use that all-important hashtag on all the social media platforms, and we should hopefully see it, or just the @. But yeah, no, it's all good. So, who's reviewing what? What have you guys been playing?
Do you want to go first, George, or shall I?
You go first. I've been hogging the limelight.
Okay, cool. Well, what I've been doing is trying to go through all the digital games I haven't had a chance to play in real life before. Since the end of the world happened, it's made gaming quite difficult. Fury of Dracula is quite a good example, actually. I've never played that in real life. I've only played the digital version. So I was very, very happy when we received that. Thanks again. Another plug. The other game I've been playing at the minute is Spirit Island, which is quite a well-renowned game that I've always wanted to play. I think I may have mentioned it to you a couple of times, George, especially. It's it's a co-op game, and the players basically they are these mystical spirits protecting this island, and they are protecting it from the most evil of creatures known. Humans. So basically, humans are trying to take over the island, and you have to use various different spirits that are got kind of mystical powers or elemental powers. Like you've got a guy. They've all got really cool names as well, like river surging like sunlight, that kind of thing, where you can wash around the humans into different positions. It's kind of like Pandemic. You've got this map to protect. The humans invade. They pop around all over the place. And they kind of, if you let them stay there too long, they start polluting the area and they cause blight, which spreads.
Okay.
And what you've got to do is you've got to try and do kind of elemental disasters, or kind of, you've got natives that live on the island, which live in peace with the land, and you can try and position them to fight back against the invaders. But there's loads of cool different spirits. What makes it a bit different from Pandemic, and I'll try to be brief because I know we don't have a lot of time left.
No, you're okay.
Now you go.
Well, is
this the right one, by the way?
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
Yep, that's it. That's the digital version. Yeah, that's a 4-player game by the look of it. It's very modular. Like, you can kind of customize the size of the island. Like, that's a 4-player game. So you've got 4 spirits, and there's like 4 islands clipped together. It's kind of like Settlers. You can position the different types of land how you like for the game. But there's all sorts of cool spirits. There's like a fire spirit. There's a lightning spirit. Without going into the whole gameplay, the lightning guy is pretty good because there's kind of 2 types of attacks. There's fast attacks and slow attacks.
Yeah.
And the standard turn order is you do your power. Fast attacks go first. Then the humans do their thing, which is either attacking the natives or building cities and polluting, that kind of thing. And then you have slow attacks. So you kind of have like a preemptive stage and a post-emptive? What's the word after? Is that a word I just made up?
Yeah.
Reactive. That's the word. Yeah. So the lightning guy does a lot of strikes fast. So you can kind of, depending on how many players you've got, You could have one player that's kind of a damage dealer. You can someone that does fast attacks. You can have a person that's kind of good at healing or moving the people around. Like the river guy is, he can flood areas and move them to different areas. So if you know they're going to corrupt one area, you can flood them to push them to another, that kind of thing. There's some really cool ones as well. There's one called the Bringer of Dreams and Nightmares, which is pretty metal when you think about it. He basically just scares all the humans. One of the ways of winning the game is increasing the fear level. If you just keep destroying all the towns and stuff and scaring the townsfolk, eventually they'll stop invading. That's one of the win conditions.
Okay.
So it's really cool like that. It's an interesting game. It's very difficult. I've played it 6 or 7 times. I've only won once, though I'm still kind of learning. I know it's quite hard.
That's a tough win ratio.
It is a tough game, but I think I'm only getting the hang of the strategy. But you do kind of get the hang of kind of combining the different spirits' powers, and the longer you play, the stronger your spirit gets, because you can kind of choose what area to improve them in, like either the number of cards of the play or the actual cards themselves. So it's kind of an engine builder in a way, because the humans are kind of consistent all the way through, while you're getting more and more powerful. So as long as you survive, the spirits just get angry and angry and angry, and eventually you can push them off, or you run out of time, like I do typically. It's kind of like Pandemic. If you run out of cards in the Invader deck, they win. So it's kind of like a time limit. That's the game in a nutshell. In terms of the digital version, it's really nice. It's got it's pretty well polished. It's got a really good undo function, which is a common pet peeve I have with digital games. Is if I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing, I can't go back. What was that, George? Did George just pass out on screen? I can't see him.
Sounded like something from The Exorcist.
I think he's just been attacked by one of the Mirror Dreams and Nightmares. Attack George. Never mind. Moving on. So it's pretty. The only downside is it's single player only, which is horrible. I think quite a lot of co-op games are only single player on that, or local kind of pass and play, which I think is a shame.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you live with people that you can play games with, so if your partner's a game, or if you live with housemates or something, then it could be a good option. I recommend checking it out. It's pretty good. I've only played the Steam version. I'm sure it's probably available on other platforms as well.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that's all I can really think. I mean, unless you've got any questions about it.
No, I think you only answered the only thing I was going to ask was how many players is it for, and the digital version is solo player only. It's probably not one that's going to make it into my Steam library anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean,
you're draining my bank balance enough as it is.
I mean, I got it on sale and I don't regret it at all, because it's really fun. I mean, technically, you can have up to 4 different players, but if you've got the digital version, you're just controlling all the different players. It's like playing Pandemic solo. It's fun, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, what was your question, Chris?
So I know you've played the digital. Did you say you've played the Dead Tree format or not?
No, I would love to. And once the end times is finished, once we're allowed outside again, I think this will be on my shopping list. I reckon it's. I mean, I love kind of co-op games, and this is one that's got a lot of different replayability. There's loads of different spirits. They've all got different play styles. Some are really complicated. Some are really kind of more straightforward. So you've got all different kind of difficulty curves.
Yeah,
I think it's worth checking out, especially if you live with someone you can play with. Kind of,
especially if you like co-op games. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. George, what have you got for us, mate?
Well, this week or month, I always say week. I don't know why. Time
has no meaning. We've already covered this.
Has no meaning.
Yes, but welcome to the Altaverse.
Our schedule is full for guests up until when is it? October, George?
October, the next slot we've got available is October. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. At this rate, we're going to be coming not a monthly show, we're going to be bi-weekly. Just to fit guests in, because people want to be on the show. The readback, the playback we're getting is great. But anyway, I digress. Sorry.
Yeah, so no, this month I'm talking about Love Letter. I'll say another old classic game. It's beautiful in its simplicity. So quick, so easy. We actually cracked out a couple of rounds this lunchtime between myself, Dan, and Pete. And it's nothing too serious, but it's simultaneously light but tactical at the same time, and it's elegant in its simplicity. I love it. I say it's got a lovely little 2-player variant that adds a bit more spice to it, where there's more hidden and revealed cards to help give you a bit more tactical insight. And theoretically, there's no reason. Well, I think there is an upper limit. I think the digital version supports 4 as a maximum. I think you can get up to about 6 in the real world before it becomes too problematic.
Possibly. The more players you have in Love Letter, the less cards you get, though. You only play like 2 rounds and then it's over. But
I've seen variants before that.
Yeah, you could probably combine decks. I agree with you, though, George. Not all games have to be complicated beasts, do they? It's actually nice to just have a simple tactical game you can play in kind of 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, well, the first time I played this was on a stag do. And a certain person, not naming Mr. Leak, we were playing it in the back garden, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
So that's my first occurrence of it.
That's a hardcore stag do, isn't it? Playing Love Letter in the back garden.
Yeah.
We know.
It was towards the end of
but it was fun.
We just got back from Berlin.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, it's nice, it's simple, it's a good one to start the game's night off. Good little amuse boost while you're packing up the old big box game and putting out the new one, or just a nice easy way to fill out the end of an evening. I know that the other night after we'd finished playing Terraforming Mars that we just had a couple of rounds of Love Letter just to cool down at the end.
Just to wind afterwards,
Well, I was given a copy of this as a present, and I must admit, even the Dead Tree format edition is beautiful. And just trying to find a format to show you what it looks like. So just bear with me. But it's beautiful. The artwork's great. You can't really knock it. And when you've got something in a special edition in a really nice plush bag, it looks great. And when you bring it out for a short game, someone goes, "Oh, that looks really nice. The finish is great." It adds to the experience. It really does. I'm just going to try to find the picture now so people can see. So bear with me.
I'll say another point again.
Yeah, there's loads of different versions.
The mechanics are so simple.
Oh, sorry.
I was saying there's a lot of different skins of it. I think one of my favourites is, of course, the Munchkin version called Loot Letter instead.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to raid the dragon instead of woo the princess.
Yeah, Pete. Really nice. I must admit the background music on the digital version is great. Yeah.
It's loads of different themes. I've seen a Batman theme, which I've always wanted to play because I have no idea what.
I was going to say I've seen the Batman one as well.
Are you romancing the Joker? I don't get it. What's happening?
Hey, look, geeks come up with all sorts. Yeah, geeks come up with all sorts.
It's true.
Yeah. No, and a lot of the comments are all saying that as well. Pete says he's not seen that.
Yeah, Pete's right. I've got a different, like a more Japanese kind of samurai version, which is pretty cool. But I think the version you've got, Chris, is like similar to the digital one. The artwork's the same, isn't it? So
yes, the Dead Tree format just looks really nice. I mean, I'll bring it back up on screen so people can see it. But it comes in a really lovely red bag. Ironically, it was given to me by Dan.
Well, I wasn't going to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's such a softie. We love him.
Not when you're playing games, you don't. You're all like,
Look,
you're sudden
and everything betrayals. So many games.
I hold the what? Sorry, the throne.
You hold the throne on so many games at the moment.
It's just what I do.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to quickly say to Thomas, while I've not been playing games because I've been, dealing with a small human that we reproduced. So I've not.
They 3D printed a child.
No, I had a 3D printer, but wasn't 3D print the child. But while I've been playing some digital games, I don't want to really focus too much on digital games. I mean, obviously, I've done the competition announcement, but we've still got a bit of time left. And I wanted to open up the room to a conversation about cooperative games, because it was brought up on Twitter earlier on today. And there was a big weigh-in about great cooperative games that people would recommend for people who like co-op games. So, going around the table, I will start. Come up with one of your maybe one or two favorite cooperative games, and we put that on there so people can, comment and blow that up as much as they like as well. So I'm going to start. I absolutely love the Hogwarts Battle deck building game. It is cooperative because you are against the board. It's great. I know George has played this. Dan, I don't think, have you played Hogwarts?
No, I haven't played it yet, no.
Thomas?
Nope.
No. Well, if you haven't,
I know some of our viewers like Steph active.
Yeah. Do you like Harry Potter?
Yeah, I'm cool with Harry Potter.
Yeah, and obviously you're familiar with Magic, and you like that. I'm guessing you've played many deck builders.
Yes, quite a few deck builders.
Do check it out. It actually is really good, and some of the new expansions are excellent, and they're all on review on the website, so you can go check those out if you like. But yes, Steph, one of our followers, and fans of the show, who also does the odd review here and there, is a big fan of it too. So you can check that out. But my other favourite is Jaws. Jaws, the board game, is a cooperative game. You all have to work together against the shark. It's hidden versus one.
Isn't the shark a player?
Or you say many versus one?
I call that semi-cooperative. No. Yeah, it's many versus one, I would say. It's kind of a team game. It's a team game.
Jurassic Park, but
Order.
It's more than one, isn't it?
Yeah. Many versus. I think many versus one classes as semi-cooperative. So I think it's.
I'd say or a team game, because it's kind of but yeah, still good shout, because you do have to work together.
George,
don't want to steal your thunder too much there, Chris. Sorry.
Right.
Remember, I got you that love letter. You got to be nice to me. Oh, good comment from Pete there.
Yeah. It's Forbidden Island. Yeah.
Forbidden series is great.
Yeah.
I haven't played Sky.
No, I haven't played Sky.
All of the Forbidden series, and I think they're all brilliant. I would say it's one of those ones where, despite how generic they are in what carries forward to each of the different versions, they're really unique in their own new way. You can't just use the same strategy for each of them. They do have a lovely subtle thing.
There's definitely reaffirmed the Hogwarts Battle and Pandemic and Forbidden.
I do love, while I love the Forbidden series, if we're opening up to many versus one, I think Betrayal at House on the Hill. I do love that game. I love the gameplay of that game. The presentation, however, does slightly leave lacking in the. I wish that everything wasn't just a simple cardboard.
I've heard that's a great game.
I wish I had a house. It's a great game, but I wish I had 4 tables so that I could actually have a house big enough to play it. Because when you have to have effectively a full max worth of each floor and try and fit it on a standard table, you suddenly find you don't have room to do anything. But if I had enough space to play it properly, I do love that game. Yes, I do love anything with a traitor mechanic.
He does, yeah. He loves the traitor mechanic. I was going to say, I've always wanted to play Betrayal. I've heard it's really fun, but I've heard you can't take it too seriously because it's one of the most horrendously unbalanced games ever created.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Thomas is cringing there.
It's one of those ones where, in my experience, it's a game that makes for great stories.
Yes. Yeah.
Afterwards, right. You can be like, played Betrayal last night and this thing happened and it was great. And like when you're actually playing it, you're like, okay, I kind of get what it's going for, but you forget all of that afterwards because all you're left with is that was such a cool thing that happened.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame it for being imbalanced because there's so many different scenarios. There's like 50 different traitor scenarios in the base game, I think, isn't there? And it's all obviously dependent on who's where and whatever, all the whoever's got whatever items. So there's so many factors.
Yeah,
I think you just need to expect it to be a bit chaotic, and you're probably going to have fun with it.
If you go in with that expectation, I think it's a great game.
It's on my to-do list. Can you make a digital version? Challenge then.
I'd really like to, but I think that because I have to know about all these different licenses and things. So I think Betrayal is Avalon Hill, which is a subsidiary of Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, that makes sense because they did a Baldur's Gate version.
Hasbro, so it'd be doable, but it wouldn't be as easy as you're a nice little independent company that have this board game.
Yeah.
Sort this out, please.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, believe it or not, I floated the idea, and we are working on a Kickstarter. It's taken a little bit of a back burner purely because of COVID and everything that's going on. But you never know. We might talk to you guys to get it digitalized. Could be interesting. So, but it's a hush hush at the moment. So watch this space. So what did you? Yeah, Thomas, what was your suggestions for co-ops? Any favourites?
So after Betrayal, which was going to be the first one I was going to talk about, have you guys played a game called The Mind?
No.
I haven't, but I bought it for my dad for Christmas, and it's sat waiting to be delivered to him this weekend when we can actually go see him.
Okay, so it's a super, super easy game to get to grips with, but it's got such a good focus on the dynamics between the people you're playing with. I think that's why I really like it. So all it comes with is a deck of cards that have, I think it's 1 to 100 written on those cards. And in order to play the game, so you and whoever else you're playing with, you shuffle up the cards, and then you all get given, I think it depends on what difficulty you're playing on, but say you all get given 5 cards. The objective of the game is to put the cards down on the table so that they go in number order. So if you put down a 2, whatever goes next has to be higher than a 2, and then so on and so forth until no one's got any cards left. The issue is you can't speak to each other.
Oh, okay.
So you've got to play the entire game in silence. So say, for example, you're sitting there and you've got a 5 in your hand and no one's put anything down yet. You're going to look around the table and go, probably put this down. And if everyone else looks at their hand and just gives you that sort of like, got nothing low, then you're like, okay, I'll put this 5 down. And that's how the game progresses. You're just carrying on, trying to work out who's got the closest. And if your number's really close, then you'll be like, I should probably put this down. But because you can't speak, it's such an intense game for literally just going from 1 to 100.
Yeah, and then there's the wonderful joys of things like the Shurikens, which allow you to discard cards if you're really not sure. And I always love the tactic of because you have so many lives and you have to get through so many levels. If you start getting to the later levels, there is actually a tactic that says if you start off with a particularly high card, that you just play it, and because anything that's lower just counts as 1 life. And that you can just deliberately go, right, this is going to be too awkward. We've each got like 12 cards at this point. I've got the 100. I'll just drop the 100 and just call it a day. We'll accept 1 life loss to get through the level.
Yeah.
Pete,
not time I'm playing tactical rules lawyer at all there.
No.
Game in the system.
Saying, he's not played it himself, but he's got a friend who's played Aeon's End Legacy and believes that it's a co-op, as it sounds like a deck builder where you effectively battle a boss monster. That sounds cool. I like the sound of that. I quite like those kind of games. So I might have to check that one out. Thanks for that one, Pete.
Yeah, does sound cool.
Yeah. So I'll go back to my second, if I may, because my
you may.
internet decided to cut out. It's a tough choice for me for my second, so I might be greedy and choose 3. In fact,
my goodness,
Star Realms Frontiers. When you can play it again as it cooperatively, which is another little deck builder, and you can play it cooperatively against an automa. And actually, some of those automas are really difficult to beat, even cooperatively. We've spent many a day trying to beat the blob empire as it suddenly floods through the world, and that's there's still many scenarios we've not tried yet, and I think that's really good. And the other one is I saw it on tabletop back in the day when that was up, and we loved it so much we went out and bought it immediately. At a highly inflated price, which is Flashpoint, and I love Flashpoint. It's which basically you play firefighters trying to rescue victims from a burning building before it collapses.
Yeah, you reviewed that on the site, didn't you?
That has been reviewed on the site, and it is one of the few 6s I've given out for the site. I absolutely love that game.
That's on my to-do list as well.
Yeah, and it has a very good Steam adaptation, which has some spectacular graphics, which is on my wish list.
Cool. Right. Got a few minutes left. Should we do mine?
Yes, go for
it.
I've already gushed about one of them, Spirit Island. I'll give that another shout out. That is co-op. You're the co-op. You've got the classic Pandemic as well. If you're thinking of one versus many, quick shout out to Letters from Whitechapel, which is pretty good. We have most of the players playing as the police, working together to try and track down the lone Jack the Ripper. Pretty good. The other one I was just kind of searching in my shelves for, one's a bit different. I don't know if you played it, is Hanabi. Can you guys say that okay?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I've played that before.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's purely cooperative, but the thing that makes it a bit different is all the cards, you don't look at your own cards. You kind of put them face forwards towards the other players. And people have to kind of give you hints about what you're saying, but they can't exactly say the name or the color of the cards. Yeah. So you can see everyone else's cards, but not your own, and it's just quite original. And you have to try and communicate to puzzle game. It's just something a bit different. Worth checking out, and it plays in about 10 minutes, like Love Letter. So it's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's cool. That does sound kind of interesting. And so, how long you had that one?
A couple of years, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's not one you showed me.
No. Well, it's, I've got a few to get through. I keep cracking out the old betrayer games to keep George happy. So never get a chance for the count ones.
Yeah, no. Well, I was going to say, Dan, you've got many of those because it's also one of your favourites, Ross.
It is. I have been typecast. My
social
deduction games.
Many hours playing.
Not sus.
Have you ever played?
I was doing tasks. Yep.
Excellent. Yeah. I think that's about all we've got time for this month. And I'll say really thank you, Tom. It's been great having you on the show. I'm sure I speak for the rest of the team and saying we'd love to have you back sometime. In the meantime, I'll say do keep checking out all the reviews on the website. We publish a new written review every week. Watch this space as we are looking to start podcasts for discussions like tonight where we've had about cooperative games. And when we get a chance, we will start our video reviews up again soon. So make sure you follow us on all the socials for Facebook, Twitter, Discord, YouTube, all the usuals. Get yourself involved. And until then, we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.
Many thanks.
Yeah, thanks again for having me.
No, it's been great. It's been really good. One last thing quickly before we go. I will kind of remind you all that the competition is running. It will be live after the site. I've seen people been going on and been entering already, which is good start. So thank you very much. It will get shared across all the platforms. All of the sponsors, our very kind sponsors, have agreed to put it on their social platforms as well. And just for that last little perchance, these are everything that's up for grabs, guys. Like I say, name the imp, and again, you got a chance to win all these wonderful goodies. They look great. So again, thanks very much. Take care and stay safe. And a great show. Thanks, George. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Nice to have you back, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's been great to have you back.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.